Several students have asked me how to make a ghost blaster like this one. And one very clever student today suggested, hey, we should have these for our Canes Arcade. You could make a game with that. And what we have here now are 4 different types of cannons that you might want to use for your Canes Arcade STEM challenge coming up. I was able to turn a cereal box into a cannon, cut it in half, and roll them up. And now I've got a cardboard cannon made out of cereal box. It does work. Oh, it's not bad. Then we have the standard paper towel roll, which is the one I first saw online many years ago. And that one works quite well. Then we have the ghost cannon. This one, I'll show you where I got these tubes. All 3 of these, by the way, they're the same, except what the tubes are made of. And this one is fantastic. This one has worked for 2 years straight with lots of kids using them. And they're accurate and fun. But my favorite is the most recent discovery, and that is a straw within a straw that shoots straws. I put some tape around the straw just to make it a little bit heavier, and this thing flies. I've tried all different kinds of straws, skinny ones and fat ones and long and short ones. They all work with the same principle. You need a wider straw to go outside a thinner straw. The thinner it is, the more challenging it is to find something to shoot that won't hurt anybody. Now it's tempting to want to put something pointy in there and have it shoot and stick into things, and that is fun, but it's also dangerous. We are not going to allow that at the Baker Canes Arcade STEM Challenge, so no pokey things. And to avoid that, I've discovered that shooting a straw from the straw works quite well. However, this one is so skinny, it doesn't fit. So that's where the big boys come in. If you have a wide straw, milkshake straw, I've heard them called, this does fit down in there very well. And then a regular size straw, rubber band, and some tape, and man, this thing's great. You can also use a Q-tip. It's soft, so it doesn't hurt when it hits you, but it also flies quite well. I like to cut mine in half, and it's a little pointier, but it doesn't hurt, and it's safe. Now, there are lots of different ways to make this happen. I'm gonna show you how I made mine. Beginning with the rubber bands, I've tried different sizes and different kinds, and they all work to different degrees. If you wanna be consistent, I find these number 3, whatever that means, these work quite well, and so we'll be using that one today. You do want a good bit of wiggle room here between the straws. That's helpful. This little bendy part we don't need. And then we need to cover one end of this. It does not need to be watertight, but you do want to cover it so in case you have something skinny that you're shooting, it doesn't go inside the inner straw. So I just make 2 skinny strips and put a little plus sign here on the end of the skinny straw. Wrap it down. And then take another piece of tape. It doesn't matter what kind of tape. I'm just using this bright stuff so you can see where it is. And wrap it around. But be careful, if you make this too fat, it won't fit in the big straw. But that seems to be a good size right there. Now I need to poke 2 holes in the bottom. In the bigger ones, we did 4 holes, but I've discovered with the straws, 2 holes works better. And I want to make sure I have room for grabbing this. So I'm going to put the holes a little further up. I don't want to use a hole punch here because the straw is so skinny, it'll just cut it in half. So just make a little hole. And then using another bigger pointy object like a pencil, you're just going to make it bigger. You only want it big enough for the rubber band to go through. I like to go ahead and cut the rubber band for the straws. Works better that way. And I'm gonna need some help getting that through. And that was the hardest part of this whole project. It's all downhill from here. So now what I like to do is tie this in a knot, and that helps to actually hold it in place. And now I can slide the little skinny straw into the big boy straw. And now I'm just gonna tape this on. Now, how far do I want to go up with this? It really depends. I have broken some rubber bands by trying to make it too powerful. So in this case, right there seems like a good spot. Just gonna tape that right on there. And I've got a cannon. Remember, no pointy things. They're dangerous.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
And we're not doing that at Baker. I'm gonna go with my little Q-tip there. And these things go so fast, so far. It's like magic, they disappear. So I'm gonna put some bright colored tape on there, partly to see it, but also to give it some weight. Oh, where'd it go? All right, and then make sure it fits in there okay. And you want it to fall all the way down. Interestingly, this does not work when the straw hits it. It works when the straw pushes it. If you don't have Q-tips, you could just use a piece of the skinny straw. Again, I put tape around it to make it heavier, add a little weight to it, but not too much because you want to make sure that it fits in there. And make sure that it slides all the way down. And you have yourself a cannon. Now one needs to fit inside of the other, and that's not gonna work. So what I did was I just cut a slip right up the middle, and then you can roll this one tighter and put some tape on it. And now I have a tube that will go inside of the tube. Might wanna put some tape on there. And now to connect the rubber band, we need to punch some holes in both tubes. Make the holes a little bigger. And you want to make sure those holes line up on both sides. And we're just going to slide the rubber band all the way through. Choosing the right size rubber band is important. You can see this blue one here works the best. Wish I could tell you what size it is, I don't know. But don't worry if you don't have the exact right size. Here you can see this one is a red one and a pink one combined. And that's because I didn't have the blue one at that time. Really, any size rubber band will work as long as you have enough of them. So if I can't get this size, I can put these two together. And the way I do that is I just put one inside of the other, like this. Now I'm gonna put one end of this rubber band through the other end of itself and pull it tight. When I first started making these years ago, I cut the rubber band, fed one in through all four of the holes, and then tied it back together again. But no matter how tightly I tied those together, they always pulled apart really easily. Fortunately, I discovered that if you just treat the rubber band as one string and then push it through all four holes and then connect it with a paper clip, it stays very strong and works very well. And then I just pull this one out and through here. And there we go. Now, another advantage of not cutting the rubber band is you have a really strong connection here. All you need is a paper clip. And pull that through. I might put a piece of tape on here just to hold it in place. And now I have my working cannon. I like to put a little tab on there, A little tape sticking out, and I'm gonna fold it over. So now I've got kind of a handle. Now I'd love to shoot a ping pong ball, but it just doesn't quite fit. And that's okay, because Cane's Arcade, we're supposed to use things we have around the house. So to make a little paper version, I just get a piece of paper. And I happen to have some really cool space tape. Beautiful. Aha! I like to add a little thumb drawing here so the user knows where to hold it when they're shooting. You can even add a handprint here so the user knows how to hold it when they're shooting. And you got yourself a shooter. Now this is a very basic model. You can take this simple version and make it much fancier and add all kinds of cool tricks to it. And I think this would be a great addition to your Cane's Arcade game as a fun shooting game. Just add a little tape at the top to match the ball so that the user sees where to put that. And I'm off to a good start. Now, what's the goal of my game? And these cups are kind of boring now. What am I gonna do to make those cups go with this game? Are they gonna be aliens that I knock down? This is your opportunity to decide what to do next with your Cane's Arcade shooting game, if you should choose to do one.